Hello and welcome to Dave and Sal's podcast, episode 7. I remember this time.
I didn't remember.
I remember.
I was hoping you'd do that.
I'm not going to lie, I saw it like 10 seconds
I was like, right, okay. Advantage.
Yeah, so this week we've got Tom on.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Jen.
Cheers for coming on.
And rather than me explaining it, or Sal explaining it, because we will cock it up, because we do, we'll let you explain what you do, Ben, and why you want, why you're here, why we got you on.
Well, I've known Dave for quite a while. I used to look after his Subaru. I was into Subarus big time. Rallied a couple, looked after a few for people, then started looking after hundreds and hundreds of them. And I sold that business off and got into the classic cars then. And part of the reason I've just come along is to have a little chat of how we've gone from our youth in resting around in car parks through to running a business building and racing classic cars.
Yeah, because there's quite a gap between those two. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all started modifying, and it's great that you've made a business from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big respect for that, mate.
A lot of hard work. But sometimes I think to myself, why am I doing this? And then I look back and think, well, I'm actually quite privileged because I started off messing around in a car park in a Rover 216.
Oh, nice.
My grandfather gave me, and modified that. I painted the dashboard myself. It was so bad. So bad. And going to, like you lot discussing car meets the other day, Western car meets, and because I was more Bristol based, I used to go down to the Meads as well, and then down Avonmouth. Yeah. But I got more involved in the illegal street racing. I always wanted to go racing. That was my life, come from my family background. And I was getting into more and more trouble street racing. How I didn't lose my licence, I do not know. I'd been arrested a few times. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I should try and do something about this. So I got into working on cars after I'd done my engineering, which was on boats originally. Qualification, marine engineering to start with. And then I got into looking after a couple of cars for people. And it just got out of control. I went from looking after one rally car to running a whole business, and then, as you know, modifying Subarus, rebuilding engines and restoring them.
I mean, that could be a full-time job.
I did pick the right car to keep me in business, didn't I? Subaru rebuilds. We were never short of an engine rebuild or two over the years.
So, I mean, what made you get into Scoobies? First of all?
Rallying. It was all rallying. My family came from motorsport, and it was Colin McRae, Richard Burns. I just loved the sound of a Subaru. I can remember Colin winning the World Championship. Which was this weekend, 30 years ago this weekend, actually.
Did you see, actually, that his
Holly was, she rolled the Mini, unfortunately.
Oh, did she?
So I love the RAC. I've worked on that event twice. It's brutal. Holly rolled the Mini on the second stage, unfortunately, put it on its roof. Yeah. Well, our old man would have been proud of it.
I was going to say,
He'd been very proud of that.
DNA, I suppose.
It was going to happen, wasn't it, at some point?
I got into rally when I used to... when they used to have the round at the Cheltenham Racecourse.
That's it.
Yeah, I went to that every year when I
had to make my mum take me when I was younger, to watch the RAC.
So I used to go there and I didn't watch it. It was great, absolutely brilliant. Loved it.
See, I cut my teeth on the Wydeen as a kid. We, obviously we didn't have much money, so we couldn't go and watch Bosch stuff. You could
wander into the forest.
Yeah, exactly. It was free. So I cut my teeth rallying with the Wydeen, and to be honest, I feel like you got a lot more entertainment for your money with the Wydeen than you did with the RAC, because a lot of them got it wrong. There's a lot of privateers.
It's all privateers.
And they're getting it wrong. Yeah. And it was great. It was, as a kid, it's great to watch. Yeah. You want to watch people crash. You want to people stuff it. When they get ready to call it perfect, it's like, that's boring. They start flicking gravel at you.
I've always wanted to give rallying a go. You know what I mean?
It's great fun, and it teaches a lot of car control. So I did 5 years working as a rally instructor, teaching people to drive rally cars for forest experience up in North Wales. I did about 2 years for them, and then I worked for Cotswold Driving Experience, teaching people up there. And they had little Citroen C2s, but they were great for teaching car control.
Brilliant.
And all of my customers now on the classic circuit racing scene, I make them go and do a rally course. We try to go and try and teach them how to do car control, and it's just absolute great fun. You can have so much fun at half the speed you would on tarmac.
Excellent.
Maybe we should get you there, because they got a rally course at Coogan. Maybe we should get you thrown on that, just cut your teeth.
Yeah, I mean, that one's just an oval, though, isn't it?
It's still good fun, that one.
Yeah.
It's still going to teach you how to control a car when it's out of shape.
I mean, maybe we could all do it. Give it a go.
Seems like a good
I mean,
idea.
you should be pretty adaptable because obviously me and you used to be the drifter back in the day.
Yeah.
And
In Mexico.
there's similar sort of the way the car and the way the kind of balance, the way you sort of pick it up when it's starting.
Yeah,
to
it's very similar.
It's very similar sort of driving style. So imagine you take to it quite well. To be fair, mate.
Well, give it a go, innit? You always give something a go once, and or go back to the classic car racing.
Yeah. So I got slightly into the classic cars when I was doing the Subarus. I had one customer who had a 1938 pre-war Hotchkiss ex-Monte Carlo rally winning car.
Yeah.
Strangest thing in the world. Absolute great car. And I really liked it. He wanted to go hill climbing, started looking after some more of his cars. And I thought, I really like this classic car racing for two reasons. It's more fun, the people are nicer, and it paid better. I'm not going to lie, I'm a businessman. It paid better to run them than it did to look after Subarus.
Okay.
So the chap who worked for me as my manager at the time wanted to buy the business, so I sold it. I said, yeah, you have the Subaru business, you crack on. I've lost interest in that now. I don't want to do it anymore. And then we went off doing classic car stuff, and I've been doing the Mille Miglia for a couple of years, which is what this is, and it's a huge event in Italy.
Right.
One of the most prestigious road races in the world. It's just crazy. It's 5 days, 1,000 miles racing on public roads in Italy.
Oh, that'd be great.
In cars that had to have competed before 1957. So
Nice.
really old fancy stuff. So I've enjoyed doing things like that.
Yeah.
And then
Imagine that being quite challenging as well with regards to you got 0 driver rates.
there's no drive race. There's no safety feet. There's nothing.
To me, that's more of an adrenaline rush as well. Like, right, no drive rates. You know what I mean?
I think that's why I love rallying, because there's always a good chance you could get seriously hurt. You didn't have runoff when you were rallying.
There's no sand traps.
There's no sand traps. No, the tree was normally on the apex, and it was more of a thrill. And that's why I did try like racing Clios and MX-5s, and I found that I liked it, but we had aero and we had semi-cut slicks, and the things gripped up all the time. And it was good fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like sliding around, which I missed from rallying. I did the British Off-Road Championship for a bit, which was absolutely fantastic. I'd still be doing that if I could afford to. But I managed to luck into looking after these things. And that brings us to this here. So this Scalextrics model is actually of a car that's in my workshop at the moment. So my customers bought the real car this is based on, which is the 1964 MGB X-Works car. We've now got it in the workshop and we race it. Absolute great car to race. It's sideways all the time. You've got to be four-wheel drifting through all the corners.
So is that the similar one to what Hammond's using currently?
Yeah, so Hammond's been and got himself built one, and he's using that to do some racing. He's done a couple of the races that we were scheduled to do, but we've had some engine problems this year, so we've missed that. But they are just so much fun, and the tyres they're on are horrendous. They're just awful tyres. You have to use period tyres from.
Oh right,
they're modern, but they're the same as they were in 90.
Period, correct.
Just awful things. Cross plies, and if it's dry, you think, well, this is okay. When it's slightly moist, I'd rather go out in a TVR on slicks. To be honest, I think it'd be safer.
So do you have to run standard width wheels as well, do you?
Yeah, that's it.
So they're literally on bike tyres.
That's it.
I was going to set up bike tyres, like
650/15, so they're imperial sizes as well.
But do you feel like the race is better because of it?
I think there's a lot more respect because you know that you're going to be sideways through every corner.
Yeah.
So you've got to give people a bit more room, a bit more respect. You hardly ever see any car-to-car contact ever throughout the year. Very rarely does anyone rub into anyone or tap anyone because everyone's much more aware that we've got no braking distance at all. Yeah?
Well, imagine a lot of them are owner drivers as well, so they know how much it's going to cost if they get that wrong.
When you've got an AC Cobra or a Daytona alongside you, which is a few £1,000,000, they sort of give you and your little MGB a bit of a wear and burn. They're thinking, well, you might have a car that's 90 grand because it's an X-Works car, but mine's a couple of million.
See, that's got to be balls. Big balls driving a car that expensive around a racetrack.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because once you've been it, then it's done, isn't it? So,
That's about the only thing that slows me down in that is probably, the fear of writing that off for my customer probably keeps me from being as fast as I could.
Yeah.
It does scare me a little bit when I think, I mean, the works car's got aluminium panels on, which are the original panels, and you can't buy replacements. There is none. I'd have to get someone to hand make them.
Yeah.
So a front wing, instead of it being 180 quid for a steel front wing, it would be somewhere around £2,000 or £3,000 for an aluminium front wing.
See, that's crazy. I mean, that's like buying a modern day car.
Oh yeah, it'd be like buying a whole car.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be. It has really good, especially when you're driving that for a customer and it's not even your car.
Yeah,
it's got to be. The fear factor's got to be immense.
Well, you try and put it out your head because the customer's there sharing the drive with you, and what it normally works is he does half the race, I do half the race because you have to do a driver change.
Right.
But you're still trying to get the best result you can for your customer, for the team, for the business, and for that car.
Yeah.
It's very important. If we want to sell that car in a few years' time, it needs to have done well.
Well, yeah, of course, because they've got logbooks. So every race gets registered. So it's a bit like, so I imagine it being similar to like owning the greyhound.
Yeah.
Where if you've had a couple of bad races, nobody's going to want to buy that dog, are they?
No, nobody wants it.
That's it.
So it's very similar with the race cars. You want them to do well. But yeah, there is that fear factor. I do have to sort of sometimes just think I've got to back off a little here or try and be careful here because I don't want to put it, especially if it's wet. They're horrendous in the wet. And I spun it at Silverstone this year and broke my thumb when I caught it in the steering wheel.
Oh,
I was doing about 100 miles an hour in the wet, and it just dead straight. And I just thought, well, it'd be fine. And it just lit up the rear wheels. And it's left-hand drive, this one. And
why is that?
Because it's American.
Right,
It was built to race in America. It was sold to the Americans' dealership, and then they built it to go racing with the support of BMC.
So originally it would have had the big ugly bumpers on it.
The
big plastic
bumpers. No, they didn't have them back to 1964.
No. Right, okay.
So no big American bumpers there. And they were allowed the chrome ones, and they were took off for racing anyways. That model is exactly how the car looks sat in my workshop now.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Minus the fact the engine's not in it because that blew up.
I mean, what other toys have you got in your workshop?
So currently we look after two of these, two MGB race cars, an Alfa Romeo, 1964 Alfa Romeo 105 Giulietta GT race car again.
Nice.
Which we're on the second rebuild because the first rebuild got wrote off. There's a 1960 Porsche 356 Super B we're building for somebody for racing as well.
That's a nice car.
Yeah, I'm not so keen on them.
Are you not?
I think I will be when it's finished. It's been such a difficult build.
I suppose, I look at that car and it's like, that's a nice car. You look at it as, I've just spent God knows how many hours trying to put that right.
That's the problem with it is, and not only that, getting the bits for a Porsche is just, I've never cried so much in my life as having to pay for these bits because I got to pay for them and then build a customer back. I wanted brake wheel cylinders for, it's drum brakes all round, wheel cylinders from Porsche. Had to get them from Porsche or Prill or Design 911, £135 each.
For a set of...
No, just for the wheel cylinder, yeah.
Just
the wheel cylinder, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the front has two in each one.
They would have been like a £5 back in the day.
Yeah, for a VW Polo or something, a set of rear wheel cylinders were like £10. I mean, for that uses them in the rear, and they are like 20 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Porsche's got 8 of them.
It's the fact that it's a Porsche as well, so the Porsche price is rocket.
Porsche tax is outrageous.
So you mentioned a Porsche. It's like when you mentioned a Ferrari and stuff like that. Like I say, the Porsche tax, it just it makes things diabolical in price.
Porsche tax is just it's a real thing. Porsche tax, it's absolutely outrageous. I've only had to buy a few bits from Porsche. The rest I've actually got from America because they're reasonably priced and they get shipped here quite quick. But I had to buy the aluminium bars that go between the brake shoes in the rear. You remember doing brake shoes, that little bar?
Yeah.
Had to get them from Porsche. They're the only people who still make them. Porsche Heritage. They were £195 each.
So is there no crossover?
That's correct.
There is some crossovers between the early Beetles and the split screen. I've got one of them in the workshop at the moment, having some work done to it.
I love it.
There is a few crossovers, but not much at all. Wheel bearings, hub seals, the springs that hold the brake shoes on are actually still the same ones as a 1994 VW Polo.
Oh, okay.
So I bought lots of those to make up.
So how the hell did you come across that How did you? That's something you already knew that, or was that something you found out yourself? Or?
No, I found out myself. I had to go through. There was a guy in America that had done a list online of everything that was crossoverable between Beetles and Porsche 356s. Which was quite helpful. And then I just put in all the part numbers and just searched, and then a lot of the things, it was like, well, that might be about the same part, and then getting the sizes and measuring it up. So I then compiled my own list of what we could use in that. And it's like headlights and things, they're the same as the split screen.
Okay.
And they're the same as the Beetle on the split screen for the Porsche. But if you buy them, and say they're Porsche ones, they're about 700 quid each. You buy them for a split screen, they're about 300 quid each. For a Beetle, they're like £100 each.
Yeah,
it's mad.
You just turn them up the other way.
It's mad. It's crazy. How things are done. Like, you know what I mean? How you find out these things. So I mean, no doubt that saved you quite a bit of money.
It saves us a lot of money and time. Yeah.
And and Beetle headlights, you can find them 2 to a penny, can't you?
Yeah, it's much easier to get the Beetle bits. Same for the front suspension, all the link arms and that. A lot of it is early Beetle stuff, which meant I had to buy new hubs the other day, and it was 650 quid for a brand new set of EMI hubs instead of £950 each.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a bit of a difference there.
Yeah, just slightly.
Do you find with the age of cars you're working on, you getting a lot of stuff machined as well? You getting a lot of stuff sort of recreated?
We're having to do it ourselves. We have to make a lot of bits. A lot of stuff's not available. There is a lot of companies out there still making stuff, but the MG's fine. You can still get everything for the MG. The Bristol, we've got 404 Bristol we look after as well, and that's a nightmare to get bits for, being that it's a Bristol car.
Well, yeah, you can't exactly go down
No, you can't go ring up anywhere for that. Yeah. You can only go to a couple of places, and they're extortionate amounts of money for parts for them. So we make a lot of the stuff in-house ourselves, or get somebody to make it for us.
Okay.
Especially that 1938 Hotchkiss. There is no parts in the world for that. The company went out of business in 1954.
There you are.
There's some bits in France from the owners club, but not much. I had to make engine mounts the other day. I had to get engine mounts made.
There you are.
So we had to go get them, make the pieces of metal, and then make a cast up, and then pour silicon into it and get it cured.
I mean, it's classic cars. They are dying now, aren't they? There's not many classic, extreme classic cars about.
It's just an evolution, look at. We talked about it with modern classic.
Yeah.
Our cars, I consider a modern classic. They're 20 plus years old.
Yeah, it's moving now. If you said 30 years ago that was a genuine classic car, we now see in the classic car market the value of these things like MGBs and midgets and stuff like Bristols and Jaguar XKs. Unless they're real special ones, the prices have gone through the floor because the people who owned them and thought they were classics and hankered after them when they were kids, because that's what their dads raced or their dads had, they're now passing on or selling up their collections. And the people who are younger than us guys, they don't want that. They want one of these. They want an Evo, don't they? They want a Nova.
That's the thing.
They want a Corsa GSI.
It's harking back to your youth. So you want that car that did well in your youth. You're not going to... like my age, like say, you look at like Subarus, you look at Escort Cosworths, that's what
Focus RSs, they're through the roof in value.
You wouldn't necessarily look at an MGB. That would be my dad. My dad's always wanted an E-Type. You're never going to have one because they're just silly money,
but they're coming down in value as well because the people who can afford to buy them. So if we say the new generation who are like YouTubers, influencers, people that have got money, disposable money, youngsters that have started good businesses, they're not interested in buying them at all. They don't want to spend $100,000 on a V12 E-Type Jag, do they? Because they're like, what's this?
Yeah.
No, there is a few resto mods coming out.
I don't even think they could even drive an E-Type. There's a way
to watch.
There's a way you drive. I mean, I've worked on a few E-Types and you have to drive them very differently. To what you
we had an E-Type come in when I was doing my mechanics course in college, and they brought this E-Type in. Big mistake bringing it into a college where people were doing a college course. Like, I mean, they come in running.
It left not running.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Why would you want to take a Jag E-Type to a college where
it's only one tweak on them throttles and they're out of sync and that's it.
So you're screwed.
You know what I mean? So, but again, it's going back to the old carburetor days as well, isn't it?
See, I prefer a carburetor over ECU, but mind you, I still tune ECUs as Dave knows. I can still plug into the older stuff and do all that. But it's just it does, like most kids these days wouldn't know what choke. They wouldn't know what a choke is, would they? Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? But
manual fuel pump. I remember an old Mini I had, and it had the rubber bung on the bottom to prime the fuel pump.
That's it.
You know, you imagine that nowadays. Can't blow kids' minds.
It's like I mean, I know it's not a car. I had a 1964 BSA Bantam motorbike 175, right? And before you start that, you had to prime the system. So the fuel was coming out, and that's when you could start it. But as you said, kiddies nowadays, they try and do something like that.
I mean, it'd be the ultimate theft device because they'd never start the thing.
Well, that's what we always say. We can leave these things parked up anyway. They'd never get them started.
No, that's it. I mean,
the Bristol, you wouldn't get started. Every time you want to use the Bristol, you've got to open the bonnet, which is a flap to start with, and then you have to prime the fuel lifter, like you said, and then you've got to prime the oil, and then you've got to get in it. And it's not, you turn the key on and then you've got to find the start button and the choke, advance and retard the ignition timing and press the start button.
And you wonder why nobody wants them anymore.
I'd see why, to be honest.
But the thing is, though, right, with me, like I said before, the older the car, the better. Right? I love old cars. I really do. But like, it's trying to buy one nowadays and keep it running nowadays.
Yeah, they do require maintenance all the time.
Yeah. I've driven an older vehicle. Like I always got a thing, like from when I was a kid in XR2s, the sound of a twin choke Weber.
Yeah, I
cannot beat it.
No.
And like you don't get that in a modern vehicle. You don't get
that induction noise.
No.
I mean, it's like my first ever car that my dad bought me when I was 14 was an old Cortina. And literally, we had it up. We used to know the people that owned them.
That would have been a Crossflow, wouldn't it?
It was a 2 litre.
2 litre.
It was 2 litre. It was one of the twin headlights. I've got it's one of the twin headlights.
Yeah, it would have been a 2 litre Pinto in it.
Yeah, right. It was white with black velvet, like black cloth roof.
Yeah.
You notice how he's talking more about the interior. We're talking more about what engine.
He's like,
but I had that. Right, it was kept. We used to know the people that owned the fort up on the common in Stroud, right? So it was kept up there. So I was away at boarding school. Every weekend I used to come out, I used to go there and drive it, right? But that thing would sit there for weeks on end. And you go out there and start first time, every time, right? Been through the extreme weathers up there and everything like that, and it would still start. But modern day cars, you get extreme weathers.
Oh yeah, you
was even parked up for more than a week.
Yeah, that's it.
Batteries flat. Half the ECUs have stopped working.
You know what I mean? But this Cortina would just start all the time.
You know they are reliable, but they're fairly reliable. But the only downside is you want to daily an old car.
Yeah.
It's great until something goes wrong, and then you can't ring the motor factors up.
No, that's it,
I don't ring the motor factors up for any of these bits. Maybe, nothing, because they just wouldn't have it. They wouldn't even know what half of them are.
I mean, my cousin up in London, her husband, he passed his driving test in the MG, right, and he's still got it.
Because you imagine my seat chairs just gone down.
You said it was sinking.
He said it was sinking. You imagine like the equivalent of like your Cortina now, right? And you had to get like set up. I mean, common issue with Cortinas and Escorts, half chassis seals.
Yeah, they do.
You imagine trying to get some now.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't be on the shelf
for a couple of days.
Yeah, you wouldn't be on the shelf anywhere.
After that, I had a 1.6 Crossflow Escort Mark II.
Oh, nice.
Bright pink, fluorescent pink. All right.
Why was it pink?
Why?
Did you paint it?
No. We bought it like that, right? It had the roll cage, all the wide arches, everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And
my chair's just died. Sorry, guys.
We had a problem with the water pump, right? So we sold it, right? Me and my dad were sold it.
Back then, the water pump on them is an absolute. And now you can buy a new kit where the water pump's easy to change. You can take the old one out, and you used to have to press the shaft in and out to change the water pump. Now you can buy a kit. Make them bolt on and bolt off.
We sold it, and this kid got up and running. I used to sit going through Stroud, and I'm like, I wish I still had that. And he was flat out everywhere.
See, I haven't seen any of my old cars. My old cars seem to go like overseas, or they just seem to disappear.
Actually, going back, what was your first car?
Oh, it was a Fiat Cinquecento. So
Cinquecento. Did it have a red door?
Yellow with a red. No, it was black. I never drove it on the road. My dad bought it as my first car. I think I did a couple of driving lessons. I did one with my dad, got about 900 yards up the road, and he was like, I'm not going anywhere in a car with you.
I had a similar with my mum. I took her to Asda once, and we were living at Sainsbury's. It's probably mile and a half, 2 miles at the most. And she got out and she called my dad and she's like, "You need to pick me up. I'm not getting in the car with him."
I blame it. It's my dad's fault. I'd spent my whole youth. I think I was 5. He got me a motorbike, and then I had quads, and then I had buggies, then I had field cars, and then I'd been competing.
Yeah.
So I was like, great, just get on the public road. And my dad was like, no, you cannot drive like you're going rallying at 17.
See, by the sound of things, you almost had a very similar start to what Colin McRae had.
Yeah.
Because he started.
He started trials. I started off trials. Which was quite cool.
Because he was actually more into his bikes than he was his cars.
Yeah.
That was his passion, was bikes.
That's it.
He knew where the money was, and the money was in racing cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his dad had had a good career in
his
racing.
dad,
What was your first road legal car?
Well, I passed my test at 18 on my 18th birthday because I'd been at college when I was 17, so I didn't really have time. I'd done driving lessons, failed quite a few of them actually. It was the hazard perception that had not long come in, and that was really a nightmare for me. 7 times I failed that.
See, I got lucky. I missed that.
You missed that?
Yeah, I did mine early doors.
I did mine. I was one of the first people to do the theory in the country.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, and it was on paper, multiple choice on paper.
At least that'd have been easier than
that. You're showing your age now, Sal.
I literally,
at least mine was on the computer.
I was riding. I had a motorbike at the time, and I was riding it, and I went to the wrong place, and then I ran out of petrol, so I pushed the bike to the test centre where they used to do the theory test. I turned up half hour late. They still let me go in there and take my test, and I was the first one to leave, and I still passed. But then you had to wait for the results coming through the post.
Oh yeah.
Right, so you're waiting, thinking, shit, have I passed, have I failed, have I passed, have I failed? But yeah, I passed my theory test first time.
So I passed my practical driving test. I passed first time twice.
What?
Yeah.
First time twice. That's pretty good going.
So I passed, and then I, as you did with most kids in Gloucester, we drove around with no insurance and tax.
Yeah.
Because we did. And I got caught because we're stupid. Because you get caught, get insurance, get tax. This is a no-brainer, especially in this day and age. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Even back then, it was stupid.
It was
Even
stupid.
more so
now
now.
you wouldn't get away with it at all, would you?
And I had my license revoked in the first 2 years. I had to retake my test, and I actually drove down to the test station in my car, which my driving instructor then bollocked me for. Passed my test and then drove home.
Thing is, though, when I passed my driving test, it was a lot easier to get away with things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like drink driving back now. I'm not condoning drink driving, but drink driving, you can get away with it. You know what I mean? There was hardly any coppers on them.
Well, it wasn't such a big thing, was it? It was like, we used to hang around in the forest and stuff as a kid. And my old man was forever having
no choice but drink driving in the forest, did you?
Yeah, back then you just did. Yeah, nothing's close. So you had to,
But it was a lot easier to get away with no insurance stuff like that because you didn't have the AMPI machine.
Well, same again. You live in the forest, mate. You probably get away with it now because there's very little policing around there.
So literally, I mean, it's like when I used to go to Ireland when I was younger. I used to go. We used to stay with my mum's best friend, and her son Paul used to take us out in his car. No insurance, no license, nothing like that over in Ireland, right? Getting pissed up in the pub and then drive us home, and we had shitloads of people in the car. It was like we had. I think at one stage we had 12 people in the car.
Oh, mate! Nowadays, all these child seats and booster seats. As a kid, I had hundreds of times as a kid where we were thrown in the boot to try and fit extra people in.
Yeah. I used to be in my boot with my parents' car all the time, and it was a treat.
We're still here.
I'm lucky to be here because my dad had an old mini estate with the wood, right? And we were driving, me and my brother were hidden in the back of it, right? We were driving around, and I was near the back doors. The back doors flew open. I fell out the back in the rain, in the middle of the road, right? And I got up and started chasing the car down the road. Like, you know what I mean?
I can remember I was about 11, and we'd gone up to Scotland. And my uncle lived on the Isle of Bute, and there was not much on the Isle of Bute. The police were there all the time, so they never left the island. It was a little bit corrupt back then. And I remember my dad and my uncle and me going into the town centre, and they were both wasted. And bearing in mind I'm 11, my uncle had a brand new Range Rover at the time, and they were wasted, couldn't drive. So their best solution to this problem was to give me the keys.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, doesn't it? He's sober, he can drive. Yeah. And I remember...
Is that the stipulations? Is as long as you were sober?
You could drive. You were fine.
Yeah. Age is not a problem.
Not a
Just
problem.
that's sober.
I remember not really knowing how to get back to my uncle's house, and my dad being led across the back seats being sick, my uncle throwing up out the passenger window, and I could barely reach the pedals in this Range Rover. It was an auto, thank God.
Yeah.
And I remember coming on the coast road and the blue lights come on behind us, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do on the level.
Yeah.
So I stopped the Range Rover, and I remember I thought, well, this is going to be hilarious, isn't it? This is just going to be like,
So you like
I'm there like that, steering wheel, like tippy toes on the pedals, like, and the police just like opened the door, and they went, "Oh, Mr. Mellish, I see, you've been drinking again, have we? I don't suppose it's all right for your nephew to be driving, is it? So you get out, little man, and we'll drive your uncle and your dad back, and you can get in the police car." And that was it. That was the end of that. They drove us home. Drove us back to my uncle's house. Job done.
I can't remember who I was talking to, and I was saying about like safety devices and stuff. And I remember when I was a kid, we must have been 5 or 6, I reckon. And then my mum and dad bought a brand new Mark II Astra.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a Merit.
Oh.
And the beauty of the Merits back then is they had a few optional extras, but one of the optional extras was rear seat belts.
optional.
My dad did, no, I ain't having that, waste of money, that. And I remember for years he had this Astra, and we had no seat belts in the back at all. Literally, because it was an optional extra. It was madness. You think that, like nowadays, like, I mean, that car would still be about, you'd still be able to MOT, you'd still be able to sit in it, technically, with no rear seat belts.
I mean, it's like
They drive around it like it.
trust me.
We're all in Gloucester, aren't we? Surrounded here.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, seatbelts are only meant to be worn on the motorway. Anywhere else, you don't have to wear a seatbelt. Or if you hit a toll bridge down a road, then you have to wear a seatbelt. Otherwise, you do not wear a seatbelt. But then at night, you get cars driving towards you with no lights on or nothing. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
Right? You see the shadow of the car. At the last minute, you got to swerve because they won't swerve.
I don't think I could do it. I think my nerves would be absolutely shattered by the end of the trip.
Me and my mate were driving down the motorway one night. We're going from Islamabad to Lahore. Alright? And my mate was driving, and this car was coming towards us down the motorway with no headlights, no nothing, in the fast lane. We're driving down the fast lane towards...
On the wrong side of the motorway?
Yeah, on the wrong side of the motorway. And we're like, shit, fucking swerved at the last minute. Luckily we did, otherwise we'd been fucking squished, like, you know what I mean? But like, it's like motorbikes over there as well. You don't have to wear helmets, and they have
That's like the Americans. They don't have to wear helmets.
And they have
Or
families.
seatbelts still.
They have families on their bikes with them, like, you know what I mean? Like, women holding babies and stuff like that. It's just like, you know. But like, now, we got all the safety aids and stuff like that, right? And, you know, thank God for the safety aids, mate. You know, I wouldn't, with the accidents I've had, I wouldn't be here without the safety aids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now I go and look at a car, and I bought the wife a new car. It was like, has it got ISO fixings in the back? Yes, we'll have it then. Has it got rear airbags? Yeah, that's it. ISO fixing seats in for the kids. I remember my dad had a Series 1 Land Rover. He's still got it now.
That one no had ISOs.
So to get me around as a baby, ratchet strap round the baby seat. I think that's no joke. I think I was lucky to have a baby seat, but he just ratchet strapped it in the back.
See, back then, no safety.
Yeah, but it's all this booster seat thing. Like my girls are 8 and 9 now, and it's 150 centimeters. If they're below that, they have to have a booster seat. And I'm like, it's an absolute waste of time. Like I don't see. Like I say, we all survive without booster seats.
Yeah,
we're all here to live telling what I would call far more dangerous cars than what they have.
Oh yeah,
now.
definitely, 100%.
Like compared to the modern equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to crash some of the cars that we used to get around in.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, it's like, I don't know, your tiny minis. Imagine if you had a crash on one of them.
Oh God, yeah. My stepmother had one when I was younger, and that thing was just. I've got one myself now still.
Oh,
and, I just think to myself, if I crash this, you'd die.
So my mum had one for years, and my dad at the time, he was working at Doubters, and I don't know how he came about this, but word got round, and it was about this time of year actually. To be fair, someone was selling a turkey, as you do. But you got to come and get it now. But what at work? So my mum was like, right, okay. So she strapped me and my sister in the Mini, drove down to Doubters, and she got this turkey. And no word of a lie, it was the same size as me and my sister at the time. It was that big, she had to put it upright in the seat and put the seat bar around it. She drove home with this turkey strapped in on the front seat. Brilliant, honestly.
Imagine
Me and
that
my sister
nowadays.
in the back, the turkey's in the front. My mum was like, please don't let me get pulled over. Please don't let me get pulled over.
Imagine seeing that nowadays.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Can't pull
Honestly,
you
it's
over.
like
You get
about
pulled
Mr.
over.
Bean,
Yeah.
mate, honestly.
It's
I don't
nuts.
know where they got this turkey from. And I remember, more to the story, I remember we got it back, my mum got it back, and she was looking at it, and she's like, I don't know how I'm getting this in the oven. And she had to cut it in half and cook it twice. She could do it. And I remember even as a kid, we were eating turkey for weeks afterwards.
I bet. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Thing is, though, stuff that our parents done back then, right?
Yeah.
But if we done the same
I would be
nowadays,
arrested, wouldn't they?
yeah.
not only that, your parents tell you off for it, wouldn't they? You know
yeah,
what I
they'd
mean?
tell us off for it. We'd be arrested,
Yeah.
and someone would take our kids off us. as
Yeah,
well,
you know what I
wouldn't
mean?
they? Yeah.
It's like neglect and all that, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I remember my dad saying about my driver, you drive a bit erratic, blah, 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 and all this. And I remember even as a kid, early days, like this picture of me, he had a Cortina with racers harnesses and racer bucket seats. He weren't going to the shops in that, was he?
No,
Come on, if
no.
you've gone to the effort of putting buckets and harnesses in,
It's
you're
like,
ragging the out of that.
it's like my dad had this is where I was born, Escort Mexico.
Yeah.
My original Escort Mexico, right? You ain't driving that to the shops.
No.
Oh, you're not driving that. Then he had a Beetle Badger. I can remember a Beetle Badger they had in the
So
garage.
what's a Beetle Badger?
It's they're like the off-road version with the engine exposed and jacked
It's a
up
bit
little
like a Baja then.
Baja, yeah.
Yeah.
All the buggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
buggies.
And yeah, I went in the garage. You're not driving that to the shop.
No, you ain't.
No, he was. Yeah,
And then,
sound like
and
we
then best car I can remember him having was a big American station wagon.
Oh.
Right?
were. Bench seat across the front.
Yeah, and yeah, back and everything. The rear window was electric as well back then as well.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh.
I caught my finger in it. But it was all airbrushed, Cowboys Indians. All
Oh,
over
lovely.
it. Right? It's,
Where the hell did he get that from?
I don't know. He my dad used to turn up with odd things. It's like he had I've got photos of it at home, at his house. He had a Honda Goldwing, but it was an ex-Highway California Police Patrol bike, right? And he used to have all the kit. He looked like the colour guy for ships,
Oh, yeah.
right? With a half-face helmet and everything like that. And his mate had a Harley Davidson
That
police bike.
must have been a difficult bike because you're a man and a big guy.
No.
He's not a big guy.
No, he's not. Yeah.
You're happy to admit that. How the hell did he keep it up? Goldwing up?
God knows. But
How does anyone keep a goal?
Yeah, but
right.
he's,
yeah.
he's,
Old
honestly, he's
school,
quite a
right?
skinny,
Yeah.
short guy.
Right?
Like.
But it had all the CB. We had a CB at home, right? We used to talk to him. He used to be invited to these shows with him and his mate, right? So we used to talk to him in the CB. Even Lord Bath invited him to his house. He was on German TV and everything, right? And my cousin rode it. He dropped it. Took 8 people to pick it
I was
up.
going to say.
You know what I mean? 8 people to pick it up. But like, I can remember my dad turning up with these odd things and like, you know, it's just like.
Yeah, our parents did that, didn't
Yeah.
they? My old man goes mad at me now because I'm back living at the family farm next door to him. And he goes, "You've got too many cars here." And I can remember when we lived up the road in the bungalow as a kid that my mum would go mad at him because there was about 8 Land Rovers, 4 or 5 other cars scattered across the field and the driveway.
It's
and
a learned behaviour.
yeah, it was a learned behaviour. And it was always something he bought. He'd be like, "Oh, I bought that one because I want the engine out of that. And we bought that one because I want that bit out of that. Oh,
Yeah.
and so-and-so said they need this." And there'd be a different vehicle on the drive. And I think what really ticked my mum off was I remember this, I remember walking into the living room, I must have been about 5, and the Land Rover was in the living room.
Okay.
And we had this huge bay window on the front of this bungalow, and the driveway was just above it with a little slope, and there was a gap and a wall, and he'd obviously parked it. And it rolled off through the window. It done no damage to the building. It just gone straight through the bay window and just landed on its nose in the living room. There's this Series 1 Land Rover. And I don't even remember being that phased as a child. I just remember walking past
Just one
it
of
and
those
just
things,
being like,
Yeah.
I want to play with my toys.
I mean, the last car I can remember my dad having, which is a memorable car, was an old Cortina Estate,
Oh, yeah.
right? And we woke up one morning and he was going to work and found a homeless person in the boot.
Found a
Right.
homeless person in the boot.
So my dad decided to make his own alarm system, right?
Right.
But it worked, to be fair. I think he bought that when I was about 4 or 5. And then at age 6, we moved to Stroud, from Swindon to Stroud. And he still had that car up until I was about 14, 15. And he sold it to a friend of mine's dad. Then he sold it, and until recently, it was on a driveway in Stonehouse. I can remember it because it was green and I threw it on a number plate. Right? And it was recently, until recently, it was sat on the driveway in Stonehouse, right? And it's just like great, you know, seeing an old memory, you know.
That would have been cool if you had the ability to be able to buy it back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
cool purchase.
Nice.
But my dad was crafty because he used to change cars every so often, right? And I can remember one year we had a friend over from Pakistan. My friend's son, he came over from Pakistan, and he was like to me and my mum, "Oh, we're gonna go to Barry Island for the day." I thought, great, yeah. It was only so you can go and fucking buy a car. We tell my mum, and she went nuts, absolutely nuts. It was I think it was at the time it was a white 190e Mercedes, right? He thought, yeah, fucking great, you know. Yeah, went down. We were about telling my mum, and before we went to the beach, he had to go buy his car.
Yeah,
go buy his, you know what I mean? And then years ago, do you remember? What's that Asian guy on BBC One had the yellow Mercedes? Citizen car.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We had exactly the same
Did you have
white.
a 190E, did you?
No, I've forgotten what it was, but exactly the same yellow Mercedes as he had and that, right? Automatic, and to change gear, you had to take your foot off the accelerator and put it back down again. Change gear. And my man had that for years as well. We thought we were great, like, you know, fucking Packy family driving around the yellow Merc, like, woo, you know what I mean? It was great. But like, it's just where you had to take your foot off the accelerator and put it back down again, change gear.
Did you feel like back, you know, thinking back, like you just added to the stereotype there?
It's definitely added to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had like loads of Nissans, you know what I mean? Proper Packy taxis, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're great. Yeah, great old cars. But like,
I remember there's
child remembers, isn't
there's only a few times in my life. I mean, my mum's gone now. Yes, it is. But where I saw my mum truly angry, and the one time was I'd come back from Cam Auctions. And I bought a few cars, and I literally filled the driveway. It was 4 Fiestas, bumper to bumper, and literally the back one was just about on the drive. She come home, she's like, "Get them fucking cars gone now."
Livid. I remember my dad being so angry with me. Bearing in mind, so my first road car was a Rover 214, a bubble-shaped one my grandfather had given me, and I spent the first year going the normal modified route, you know, big subs in the back, neon lights back in the day, body kit. And then I soon got bored of that because I wanted to go racing and do illegal street racing and things. So next thing, everything's out. Seats, everything, roof lining, dashboard, door cards, as much weight out as we could, you know, harness bar in it, second bucket seats, Piper cam in it, I remember. Remapped the ECU so it made about 78 horsepower instead of the 70 it originally had, everything, exhaust system. But then I eventually got to about 125 brake horsepower, right? And the gearbox would shit itself and I'm not joking, in 1 year we put 8 boxes in it. I'd blow the centre diff out of the box, I'd dump the clutch, light up the wheels, and it'd explode. The planetary gears would come out through, or I'd always be down changing to slow down and it'd bust second gear in the thing. I remember my dad he'd put a gearbox in it on the Saturday for me, and I'd blown it up by Tuesday. Right? This is about the 6th gearbox in the space of 6 months, and I remember having it at the farm and thinking he's going to absolutely murder me. So I said to my mate, we got to get this other spare box in before my dad gets in. We didn't, obviously, because we weren't very good at being mechanics then. So we'd had a good crack at it, and we knew what we were doing, but we hadn't got it done. And I remember him coming home, and he was livid, and he picked up the gearbox and threw it at me. Actually threw it at me. Full overhead, like this, and just threw it at me, and it just missed me and bounced off the yard. I remember running up the house to my stepmom, like, that's going to kill me. And that was about the only time I've truly seen him. He was not happy because I'd blown this box up.
I mean, your first road legal car was that Rover.
Yeah, that Rover. Yeah.
Did you crash it?
No, I never crashed.
That's the first.
You're the first person.
Yeah.
I never crashed. I've only had one accident on a public road, and that was my second car, which was a Peugeot 205 Rally.
Right, okay.
Oh, nice car.
Yeah, very nice
Very
car.
nice.
It was the UK one, not the left-hand drive French one, but still a nice, rare car. I bought it from the Forest. It was an ex-road rally car. I bought it at 19. Absolutely great. Had it on the rollers, put twin 40s on it. It was about 125, 130 brake. Went really well, and I stacked it into a tree at 90 miles an hour.
Ooh.
Nearly killed me.
I know a few people back in the day that had 205s, and honestly, like, they're made out of tinfoil.
Oh yeah, made out of tinfoil.
I had a
thin,
1.6 205
yeah.
GTI, and I tell you what, I wouldn't want to crash it.
No, you don't want to crash them. I promise you.
My mate took one over a humpback bridge at 80, 90 mile an hour and lost it and took out 4 telegraph poles.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah.
One went straight through the car. Like.
Yeah, I put a tree in the driver's side and it split the bulkhead, cut the steering column in half, folded the roof in, broke the B pillar off the shell, made a right mess. The only reason I survived was the couple of days before we'd put new bucket seats and proper seat rails in. Instead of them being bolted in with like tiny little bolts, we'd welded in seat rails and put proper harness and harness mounting points in. And I, to this day, it's the only reason I'm alive, the chassis rail had bent round the bucket seat and then ripped it out the floor. I was in the passenger side of the car. If I'd had a passenger, they'd have been dead. And that's the only big accident I've had on a public road that was my fault. I've had 2 others that were other people have hit me. Yeah. That's it. So most of my other cars have survived, apart from blowing engines and gearboxes out of them.
Fair play to you. I mean, we've had how many guests on now? And they've all crashed their first car.
5, 6 guests, I think. Yeah, they've all crashed their first car. I mean, it feels like a rite of passage almost, doesn't it? Because I think it's down to just inexperience. I think, with a lot of it.
I think I was lucky because I'd already been racing and off-roading and I had loads of car control. I had no fear. And even when I crashed that Peugeot, it was only partially my fault. I was driving too fast, but there was a diesel spilt all over the road and a tractor broke down with a split fuel tank and I just lost it. And if I'd have been driving at the speed limit, I probably wouldn't have had the accident. Yeah. But I was doing 90 in like a 40 zone.
Well, you're young, you know what I mean? Young.
I mean, most of them it's over the front end or the back end's gone out. It's you understeered or the arse end's come out. Yeah, that's your first accident.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, I've had a few big crashes. And but then I've been stung by the police when I was younger. I mean, I hit a stinger that hard, they popped all 4 tyres. You know what I mean? So, like, to have that done and then get surrounded by cop cars is just like...
See, I must have lived a different life because I never come across anything like that, to be honest.
Like, literally, I had a Mitsubishi Colt and it sounded like it was loud. Like, stripped out 1.6. It stripped out.
They were a good car there.
Yeah, loud. Handled really well. And I was working at Fairfield at the time and I was running late. This is Christmas going about, I think about 10, 12 years ago. And literally tanking it. I was working in Fairfield, tanking it, gets to the Royal Agricultural College, see a police car to my left, the next one with a bang. Gets to the roundabout and my steering wheel was going over. So I get someone on that, look at this, and I got surrounded by 14 police cars. And basically a stolen Super Impreza got nicked from Stroud heading in the same direction. And where my Colt was so loud, they thought I was in the Subaru.
Yeah, because the Colt looks just
like that. Sounds just the same, doesn't it?
And so I outran 3 police cars.
If that was a traffic cop, they should be sacked immediately. Why do we have to know the difference?
Yeah, but I outran 3 police cars as well in a 1.6 Colt. By the time I said to them, if I saw blue lights,
you'd stop, yeah.
So another one we forgot. Another car that is still, to this day, they're still producing. Good little car, Colts, back in the day.
Yeah.
You could take all the running gear out of one of these and bolt it straight into them.
Yeah, loads of people have done it. Yeah,
lots and lots of people did that.
And it's scary.
Good fun car.
You know, it handled really well. Stripped out 2 buckets, like big exhaust. The exhaust is big enough to fit my head in it. Like, you know what I mean?
I remember that after I wrote the Peugeot off, my dad was a little bit savage. I'm more worried because I'd nearly killed myself. So he was like, right, well, you have to buy something semi-sensible. So I ended up getting a Discovery, a 200 TDI Discovery. And I spent years then in the Land Rover world where it was just big tyres, roll cage, going off-roading. And I think it was quite a while before I went back to a fast road car. I always had something crap to knock. I had a Mark 5 Ford Escort diesel.
Oh, what? Non-turbo?
Non-turbo.
Yeah, I had 1.8 diesel. Non-turbo. Yeah.
That's a terrible thing. Yeah. And I just knocked about in that until everything fell off of it. We used to take it Green Lane in. I take it down the Fossway, knock all the bumpers off, bend the doors in. Yeah, handbrake it round roundabouts, bend the back axle. I remember in the snow twatting it into a curb and just bending the rear wheel.
I used to snap engine mounts in mine.
That's pretty good going.
Because literally, I used to roll back down the hill.
And dump the clutch.
I went through loads of engine mounts on that one.
I had a Mark 5. I think I blew the gearbox up.
I eventually snapped the cam belt in it, and that killed it then because it bounced every single piston.
I drove miles, and that's so slow but economical as hell. And then, yeah.
Mine was a 1.3. Mine was a CVH petrol, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, injection as well. Man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you,
Yeah.
Look at you, posh boy.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
Again, they're absolutely gutless. That 1.3 CVHs had nothing to them.
I mean, it's like my Transit. I had Transit smiley face, straight. These no turbo, nothing. It's slow as shit. No power steering as well, and it's just like trying to park that thing. It's just,
Windy windows.
Yeah,
Windy
all the
windows,
windy
yeah.
windows. Yeah. You know what I
Kids
mean?
don't know their rule nowadays.
They don't.
No power steering, windy windows.
Yeah, my Rover didn't have power steering or ABS. I remember that.
Yeah.
No power steering, no ABS. It did have electric front windows.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was quite posh. I was the flash
Check you
kid.
out.
Yeah.
Check you out. I think the only Rovers I had were I've had a 620 turbo
Oh, they were a good car.
and a 600 turbo as well.
I've never had a Rover, to be fair.
They were good cars, turbos. I've had plenty of standard ones, like but yeah.
My mate had a 220 Tomcat.
Ooh.
And
They
I
were nice
always
cars.
wanted. I was so jealous of
Yeah.
him. Yeah, I was so jealous that he had one of them. I always wanted it, and then he wrote that off as well, and I was really upset actually. I think I was more upset than him
Did
because
you ask it? Can I have the engine?
no, he had such a big accident. The engine was no longer in the
Oh,
car.
right.
Yeah,
But I know a fair few people still got them now. Tomcats.
they're worth a lot of
Turbos.
money now.
Yeah, turbos and that. I mean, I know someone that's selling one at the moment, blue one. But they're great cars, absolutely great cars. And I mean, one of them I know he's actually got a proper standard mint one as well.
Yeah, they're worth
Blue.
a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Proper standard mint one.
Yeah,
they're worth
Tomcat and everything like that. And they're great cars, comfortable as well.
Yeah, they were. If I remember right, really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Half leather.
Right, boys, we better wind this up. It's become a long one again, but it's been good. It's been good
Yeah,
to have
lovely
you on,
to-
Tom.
lovely
Thanks for coming
chatting
on,
to you,
mate.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I've
And appreciate it.
Yeah,
enjoyed that. Having a bit of reminisce about
And
our
we'll,
youth. Yeah.
it's been good. And you're top of leaderboard, obviously. Did your lap earlier? Everything's out. Yeah,
Myself and
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
With a 1:34.8. That's a good time. That's gonna be a tricky one to beat. That.
That is going to be a
That's
tricky
gonna be up there at the top for a while. I'd say.
I reckon.
I think it'd be easily beatable. I don't
don't
like
know,
a controller
mate, you haven't said
really.
our guest one.
Oh right. Okay.
Some I guess ain't even drive. I mean,
Yeah.
joking.
But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
mate.
no, it's been a pleasure,
Brilliant.
James.
Thank you,
Absolutely
buddy.
loved it.
Yeah.
Nice
Been
meeting you,
great,
mate.
yeah.
6 days.
See you again. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Cheers, guys.